get out!
Hello tankers and tankettes, and welcome to another double feature. Today I'm looking at two replays that feature not both the same tanks, but they both feature a Kolobanov's medal at the end. So with that in mind, we're going to look at the first one. This is from Epicrabbit95, who is platooned up with Bacon and Land Cruiser there, and Epic Rabbit's in her Tiger 1. And it's a top tier game, which is, you know, that's always nice. And this is an 8.8 replay, I should say, as well. So this is the buffed Tiger, which is even nicer. The Tiger, it used to be more of a kind of situational machine, but actually it's a lot nicer these days. So we're it's encounter mode. It's this map that I can't remember the name of. Oh god, is it Prokhorovka? I can't remember. I think it might be. And because they've started on the southern side, they've all three of them gone for the hill, because that's an important strategic point on this map. I don't know why this replay is derping, by the way, but it is. There you go. They, yeah, they need to basically control the cap, keep the cap clear, and it's an interesting. I think encounter mode works quite well on this particular map because this hill becomes I mean, it's always kind of strategically important, but it becomes even more strategically important. And there's a kind of a whittling away of forces on both sides, and you're basically blocking the other people from controlling the cap. Until, usually how it works out is it's until the point where one side there's enough imbalance that the stronger side then goes on the offensive, and it all works out. Anyway, here's some first targets. There's a poor little Stug who's horridly backing away. There's a cheeky IS-2, and yeah, that's Land Cruiser taking some heavy damage there to begin with. Enemy Black Prince down there, yes please. Now, unfortunately, Land Cruiser's out of it already, which is not so good, because IS-2, that's a big gun out of the game on their side already. This IS-2 decides to concentrate on the KV-1S rather than Epic, and yeah, this is not looking so good. There's that IS-2 there. There's a pair of mediums, although the mediums being very cagey, they're keeping their distance. And this IS-2, obviously, you know, it's an IS-2, long reload time, so they're pulling back in between shots. But Epic's getting some good damage in here, and she's putting that Tiger gun to good use. Now, unfortunately, that means she can't really support the cap, because she's got to watch her back, and the guys in the south are kind of on their own at the moment, because if she turns her back to reset stuff on the cap, then she's going to get shot up by that IS-2 and whatever else decides to come over the hill. Now, that KV-1S, yeah, I think he puts one of the T-34, the Churchill 1 also shoots him pretty much at the same time, so that Type T-34 is down, so it's now pretty much just this IS-2 Epic's got to deal with. The situation on the rest of the map is pretty messy. It's 5-4, everyone's kind of spread all around the place. There's a VK up there in A6. So, you know, there's a VK's managed to get all there already. There's two enemy tanks there. There might even be 1 or 2 further back. There's a spread of tanks around here. Bacon's down in his Comet down there, and there's a pair of tanks on the cap. So, sorry, I'm like a real frog in my throat at the moment for some reason. So yeah, it's a bit kind of. Oh, there's also an AFK tank there, which is I think the Panther that's just sitting there doing nothing. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. It's Epic's basically surrounded, and she's got the high ground, but she's surrounded. So this is not so good. But on the other hand, she's got the high ground, so she can do things like that. So there's a cheeky IS-2, and that was in the rear, so that actually damaged her engine, and that was a nice snapshot in return, though. That was kind of lucky, given that the IS-2 was actually falling back at that point. Now Bacon's dead as well, so this is not looking so good. 3 tanks on the cap, and Yeah, the armor these days of the Tiger is, I mean, it's not like it's vastly improved or anything, so the gun is still pretty good, but it's still no brawler, and yeah, that gun depression. This IS-2 is a one-shot kill, but it means exposing quite a lot of this tank to actually take that one shot. We can see there's a trace for the KV-1S and a VK3001D back there. 3001D not so much a concern, but the KV-1S certainly is. As far as we know, that KV-1S is still there, but Epic takes the risk, pulls back. Either the KV-1S wasn't in a position to fire, or they're actually no longer there at all. But that's that immediate threat down, and there we go, we'll take care of that Black Princess low health as well. That's one of the enemy top tiers are now out of the game. This is the point where having our Panther still in play would have been really useful, but I don't know what happened with them. I mean, they've got 2 kills, they were clearly doing something at some point. Anyway, that 12T has well, somebody had to go in the cap. The 12T was the closest and managed to kill that Stug, but got blown up themselves by the KV-1S. So the KV-1S is clearly gone down. VK still in the cap. Churchill 1 on our side, who's even lower health, has actually gone. He's now blocking the cap, and this is incredibly, 10-9, and it's still all over the place. We've got a pair of Stugs over there, but they're facing a Panther and a 3601H. Stop stealing my cursor, you naughty game, you. So on this side of the map, it is effectively just Epic, and this is the point where you really can't just continue to sit on top of the hill any longer, because she's not spotting the enemies, and there's at least 2 in the cap. So there's the option of going down the 0 line, going down that slope there, but that leaves your flag hideously exposed while you're advancing at the cap. So she actually chooses this option. She comes down this way, and that way she's going to have building cover between her and the tanks in the cap. That Panther is finally moving on the hill, and don't remember that they're particularly effective from this point on, but at least they were moving, and maybe they do a bit more damage. There we go, that guy is dead. I guess they had to go AFK for whatever reason, came back, and their tank health was very low, and oh, yeah, that was the last ally dead, so it's now basically down to this one tank. So good luck with that, Epic. But as I've said, I did give the game away. It's going to be a Kolobanov's result, so let's see quite how she pulls it off. Now that VK was really low health, that was a one-shot, so that was quite nice. And with it being this late in the game, I mean, you need a certain set of circumstances to occur before you can get that Kolobanov's. And you have to have a relatively decent amount of health left yourself, and you have to be facing a bunch of low health enemies, and that's not true for this VKD, but he's a 3001 VKD, and he doesn't have an amazing gun, so this is where the Tiger armor actually comes useful, because look at that angling, and puts one into the mantlet, which of course bounces. That one did some damage, but we're still 57% health with 840 whatever hit points. And basically, the other ideal situation for Kolobanov's is that your enemies come at you one by one, which is effectively what's happened so far with the last couple. So there's that KV-1S, who, if the KV-1S had attacked with the VK, this would have been a different result. And there's the Panther, so now it gets a bit tricky because there's 2 targets to shoot at. Someone on the enemy team calling it because, yeah, there's no coordination going on here at all. This Panther and the KV-1S. The KV-1S could have been the deciding factor because they also had quite a lot of health left, but the way they're playing, no, not so much. I mean, they've obviously got a long reload to cope with, but the Panther working in conjunction with the KV-1S, working in conjunction with the VKD, could have made this a victory for the other team, and instead, look at this, the VKD is a 2-shot kill, and the other 2 are 1-shot kills. Now, it's up to Epic at this point to decide, do I go on the offensive and take some damage and potentially get blown up in the process, or do I take a chance that they will try and knock me out? Because there's still a chance, you know, if this situation remains static, they will just be able to cap. There's that VKD trying to sneak over. Oh no, 3001H rather. Wow, yeah, I can definitely tell the difference between. It's the fact that they all start with VK. It's toast confusing, you guys. Takes a hit from the. Oh, ouch. Okay, there we go. See, this is the kind of thing. This was not coordinated. This was not. Just KB1S finally moving, but it's way too late. They've already been taking a whole load of shots there, and Epic's going to reload before that guy does. So there we go. Now it's just the Panther. And the advantage of it being just the Panther is that with the remaining amount of hit points, Epic can afford to take some hits, because the Panther doesn't have a high alpha gun. So there we go. 7 kills, nearly 5k damage, which is that's a good result for a Tiger anyway, but we'll look at the medal count from that. That was Dilanglades, in addition to the Kolobanovs, because it was kills within the cap circle, Steel Wall, Top Gun, and Defender. And that was a thoroughly impressive result, and it's just because the enemies at the end there just derped hard, and that made it all possible. But even so, Epic kept ahead, and 7 kills, 4.7k damage. Potential damage received was 2200, and the XP out of that was, quite nice, as were the credits. So yeah, that's Kolobanov's #1. Can we top that? Can we get a result where we're facing even more enemies and still walk away with a victory in a Kolobanov's? Well, I do believe we can. So on to replay #2. And here we are. This is from NarakuTheDragon, and it's his very first battle in the AMX-50 Foch, which is Tier 9 French tank destroyer. It's slightly unusual in that it basically uses the top gun of the previous tank destroyer, which on paper is kind of anemic for a Tier 9 tank destroyer. It only does 400 damage. The penetration's good, but compare that to the guns on a lot of the other Tier 9 tank destroyers, and they pack a little bit more of a punch than that. But it's a very mobile machine, and it's got tough frontal armor, so I think that's the kind of the compensation. It's an 8.7 replay. This is Abbey, and there's a bit of a lemming train going on up the coastal road, so that maybe gives you some clue as to how the setup happens, that there can be another Kolobanovs out of this match. And like I said, this was his very first match, but I think well, I don't know. I haven't played up that far on the French line, but it looks like it should be basically playing as a beefier AMX-48, because it's a kind of an upgraded machine, basically. And the fact that it's the same gun, you would walk into this tank knowing what the gun was and knowing how to use the armor, and etc, etc. And it also lacks one of the major weak spots of the 48, which has got to be kind of nice when you're going into that situation. We'll also take a quick look at the matchmaking, because look at this. There is one Tier 9 on each side, so that's pretty damn sweet. The enemy Tier 9 is a Lorraine 40T, so that's it's not like it's a Tier 9 heavy to deal with. So there we go. That's an unfortunate 1390 who's dead already. We'll actually speed this up a little bit here, because during this phase of the battle, not much happens. There's 3 tanks on the left flank. There's an AMX-12T and an Indian Panzer in the middle there, and Naraku's doing his best to give some support to that Indian Panzer, but he's in a bad place. Surprise, surprise, the Lemmings are in trouble. There's actually a Jagdtiger and a T-34 who, yeah, don't ask why there's a T-34. There is, there just is. The Jagdtiger 8.8, 8.8? 8.8? Yeah, it's a whole new tank. They basically have the JT 8.8 has been able to drive all the way around there and effectively flank those guys, but it's not going to do any good, especially. So that's that IS down. The left flank is in serious trouble. It's a Type 59 and a T-44 versus a Carnarvon and a Lorraine 40T. Whoa, and there's that IS-3 in the middle, so that was lucky, that went in the track. Naraku's just repositioning, trying to get safe, because there is Artie in this battle, and Artie loves a tank destroyer. In fact, Artie just loves, you know, killing anything, but Artie especially loves a tank destroyer. Fortunately, this is a relatively fast tank destroyer, and as you can see, Naraku has got both optics and camo. I don't know what state his crew's in, but it must be on the second crew skill at least, because he's got Sixth Sense, as we saw, which is very, very useful in a tank destroyer. I'm going to guess it's either going to be like Sixth Sense, maybe some repairs, or maybe some camo or something like that. But that helps a lot in, you know, enemy arty is still a worry, but it's not that much of a worry. Now we are 7-9. I mean, the lemming train kind of, they did some damage before they died, and that's going to be crucial. But they, the last IS-3 has died, and there's a Tiger 2 and an IS-3, and the flanking Jagdtiger 8.8 is about to die as well. You can see there's a T-29 and a T-44 there, so the T-34 is not going to help them very much. So Naraku, perhaps correctly surmising that the Tiger 2 and the IS-3 will be reasonably low health, makes a move to go to that flank. But first there's a Chaffee that's just been spotted, so let's take out this guy. He's going to nail the arty, or at least spot the arty. I can't remember if he kills it or if enemy arty gets him, but Naraku is unwilling to go across the open, expose himself, so that's that for our arty. Unfortunately has to turn, and that gives the Chaffee just enough time to pull back, because that was at just the limit of his gun traverse, which yeah, so he's backing up and clearly expecting to have to deal with at least a pair of heavies, because there's also the T-44 and the T-29. Naraku's now the last person left alive. We went from just about even to, you know, 7-14. Half the enemy team is dead, at least, including their tier 9, which is good news for Naraku. But yeah, this is going to be interesting, because that's 8 enemy tanks left. Naraku's got 10 kills already. Can he get it? Can he get what you would guess? You know, it's going to be the Kolobanovs, but can he get that Pools medal as well? Which is going to be quite an impressive achievement, a Kolobanovs and a Pools, in your very first battle in a particular tank. So these guys are kind of low health. This T-44 was... what was he doing? Okay, that's the automatic fire extinguisher kicked in, but this is very, very bad. This is a scout tank. And that's IS-3 down. It took a moment to do that, because he knows the Chaffee is... oh, this is so bad. Boom! Okay, okay, that was very, very lucky. That was the gentlest of nudges. That Chaffee had to be absolutely cursing right then. T-29 down, just the Tiger 2 left. He's trying to hit the weak spots. I mean, that Tiger 2 has a rough idea of where to shoot. He lost a lot of health in a short space of time there, which is not so good. But he's still... his crew's in good condition. He's still got his gun in good condition. His ammo rack's okay. Oh, okay, bounced a shot from the IS-3. There's still a Carnarvon around somewhere on the other side. Artillery, whoa, yeah, there's artillery. Artillery is now a major concern, because Naraku has got to protect himself from not only two sides, but he's got to try and stay arty safe in the process. And he just lost, what, however many hit points that was, just from an arty splash. The Foch has got a, well, it's a reasonably long tank, and yes, it's mobile, but it's got of course it's got a soft top. Most tanks do have a soft top. And he's also got very soft sides, so artillery splash is especially dangerous to a Foch. So let's speed this up very, very slightly. I'm just trying to... I don't really need to speed it up there, but it's just... The shorter I can make these videos, I mean, doing 2 replays like this, it's a bit of a pain to actually upload them, because my internet connection is not so good, you guys. But it's... I like being able to feature replays that have something in common, and in this case it's 2 Kolobanovs. So, 7 kills, and this Tiger 2 was being extremely cautious, but popped out exactly where Naraku was expecting. He's tracked, clearly used his repair kit already, so yeah, nice try, Artie, nice try, we heard that shot. It's now just the IS-3 in the middle left, and an artillery. So... yeah, he's given it a moment there to ensure that he's disappeared from everybody's mini-map. IS3. But crucially, no sixth sense, so he's not been spotted himself. Maybe the IS3 didn't have a good enough crew. Maybe Naraku's crew actually does have camo, because this is a very low profile machine. It's a very sneaky thing. So he knows he's not been spotted, which gives him a little bit of breathing space here. There's the IS3. Oh! Another. That was a low roll that time. Or was it high? No, it was a high roll. 432. But it was lower than he'd have liked. 13 health. I mean, the Tiger 2 getting away with 19 health, okay, he was tracked, he wasn't going anywhere, and Naraku was relatively artillery safe at that point. But this IS-3 is... that would have been so nice if it had been a one-shot kill. But there we go, that's Radley Walters at least. Even if he dies at this point. Well, I've kind of given the game the way that he... well, actually, no, he could die at this point and get a Kolobanov. Or do you have to survive to get a Kolobanov? I really should know that, but I don't. Either way, it's gonna be a win. It would be so heartbreaking if Naraku died at this point, but it still would have been an entertaining replay. But the rest of his team, well, there's at least 2 or 3 people still watching Naraku just to see if he can do it. Now, that was a slight tactical error. He puts that tree over there, and if artillery was watching, or the IS-3 was watching, he would know that Naraku was there. But the enemy IS-3 does exactly the same thing, so Naraku spots that, knows that IS-3 is coming, and just sits in wait. And oh, that's auto spotting range, so IS-3 knows he's there. Naraku, come on, do it. No! No! No, he's tracked! Okay, this is bad. He's tracked. Repair, crew! Repair! Repair! He's in the open, he's not at all artillery safe. The IS-3 actually backed up there. Ooh, okay. Ooh, that was lucky. That was lucky. Artillery did fire and missed, and it was far enough away that Naraku didn't actually take any more damage, but that was... whoa, okay. That was a bit too close for comfort. So I'm going to speed things up again at this point, because now it's just Naraku and the artillery. The artillery could still potentially go TD mode and take Naraku, because it's not like he has a whole lot of hit points left, so... Naraku's taking a slightly circumspect route and approaching the cap from the west side, but hey, there's that enemy SU. Now he could try and engage him on open ground, but Naraku decides, why fight on his terms when I can have the higher ground, which is entirely sensible. So Naraku changes his mind, turns around, and basically gives himself an advantage of terrain, hopefully make it hard for the SU to hit him. Now, there we go. The SU hasn't spotted him, the SU doesn't know he's there, and this is why Sixth Sense is so very useful. It's a massive tactical advantage in some situations. So the SU is just trundling forward, hoping to blap Naraku in the face, but nope, surprise butt sex! Boom. And it's a high enough roll that he's able to one-shot the guy. He doesn't have to wait through a reload. So, in addition to the Kolobanovs that time, it was a Pools medal. Steel Wall, well, we guessed that, and of course the Top Gun. Naraku actually walked away with less damage than Epicrabbit, but it was still a pretty nice result, and that Pools, you know, 10 kills, oh my word. The only other person that had kills on the entire team was the flanking... the Tiger 8.8, and you know, some of his teammates did some damage, but on the whole, Naraku clearly comes out in first place there. That was a well-deserved win. The potential damage received in that one was much higher. That was over 5,000 potential, which just goes to show you that the Foch has got pretty nice armor. So, yeah, both those replays were... I mean, Kolobanov's is a difficult one to get. It's all about being against the odds. You've seen my only Kolobanov's replay myself, which was in my entirely troll game when the T7 combat car came out, and it was that my whole team died, but the rest of the T7s just couldn't pen me, which was kind of hilarious. But both Epic and I've forgotten it already. This is bad. Naraku, both Epic and Naraku, Naraku, have worked a lot harder for their Kolobanovs than I did for mine. So someday I'll get one that was honestly earned. But yeah, in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed these replays. So if you liked this video, you can hit the like button, you can leave a comment, you can subscribe to my channel, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.